In a world filled with false religions, idol worship, half-truths, and outright lies, I want you to know that there is a God who loves me, who loves you, and who loves all of mankind so much that he was willing to die to redeem us back to himself. Hey everybody, this is Brother Charlie. Welcome back to In the Word. Today we find ourselves in Mark chapter 14. And in this chapter, there's a lot going on. A woman comes and anoints Jesus with a bottle of expensive perfume. Judas makes a deal with the chief priest to betray Jesus. And then we see Jesus partake in his last Passover meal with his disciples. And in this Passover meal, Jesus initiates what we call the Lord's Supper. Let's read together what he says in verses 22 through 24. He says this: "While they were eating, he took some bread, and after blessing, he broke it and gave it to them and said, 'Take, this is my body.' And when he had taken a cup and given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. And he said to them, 'This is the blood of my covenant, which is poured out for many.'" Now, I genuinely want you to understand something today. Not only did Jesus willingly give up his life on the cross to pay the price for your sin and for my sin, but that death was brutal. Jesus prayed so fervently in the Garden of Gethsemane before his crucifixion that he was sweating drops of blood. He was abandoned by those that were closest to him in his greatest time of need. He was mocked. He was falsely accused. He was slapped, spit on, punched repeatedly while facing an illegal trial before the religious leaders in the darkness of night. The Roman soldiers beat him, stripped him of his clothes, whipped him with a leather whip that was filled with broken pottery, glass, nails, bone, and twisted metal. And then they drove a crown of twisted 3-inch hard thorns from the famous Jerusalem thorn bush into his skull with a rod that they also battered his face with. And then he was forced to carry his cross up to Mount Calvary. They then threw him down on the cross beams and drove spikes through his wrist, nailing him to that cross. And then finally, those same soldiers nailed his feet to the cross, dropped the cross into a hole that was dug. So when Jesus says, "This is my body broken for you," he means it. When Jesus says, "This is my blood poured out for the many," he means it. He paid our sin debt in full with his blood and with his body, and he offers forgiveness for all who will receive it. So the next time we observe the Lord's Supper, I want you to remember and appreciate what was given so that you can have eternal life. Until tomorrow, thank you and be blessed.